Hello everyone, and welcome back to Everyday Husband Quotes, the channel for marriage advice, marriage entertainment, and everything else marriage. Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. So we are approaching the last episode of Owns Put a Ring on It. And from my predictions, I do believe that Jessica and Erica will stay together. I also believe that Sean and LaRonda will also be the couple to make it to the altar as well. And I don't know about y'all, but for me, there is no hope for Darion to be with Alexia or Kai. You know, there's been a lot of drama on social media between Kai and Darion. And if you haven't checked out the video about Kai destroying Darion's car, be sure to check that out. So with all that going on, you know, I'm just pretty much waiting on this reunion. But until then, I do have a little tea to spill in this video. And the tea is that Dr. Nicole knew about Darion's cheating on Alexia with Kai. Now, I was initially very shocked to hear this. One of the fans actually asked the question in this live clip that I'm about to show you. But someone put it like this, that maybe Dr. Nicole had to keep the secret from Alexia so that she can find out on her own. Or maybe it just wasn't Dr. Nicole's place to actually say it. So let me know your thoughts on that. But before I do play this clip, Alexia also says that she didn't believe in the union, the matrimony of marriage until recently, y'all. And I'm talking about like 2 years recently. So once you hear the reason why she said that, for me, I totally can relate, because the reason behind it is she was saying that her parents have been together for a very long time, but to this day, she says that they are still common law married, which, like I said, for me, that was a wow. But I think I just didn't realize, you know, for me, that other people thought like I thought, because I thought common law marriage was okay, to be honest with you. And don't think I'm judging you or I'm judging anyone if they're in that space right now. But for me, some things changed when my eyes were open to wanting to be married to my husband, and also my Christian belief. So again, let me know your thoughts on that. I also want to give credit in this video to Danny Canada from Bossip. And before I wrap this video, you know, I do feel like we as viewers believe that there is beef between Alexia and Kai, and I have heard out of both ladies' mouth that there is no beef between them. The reunion may try to pin the ladies up against one another, but if they do, you all know that that's not true. So lots of great conversation in this clip. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section of this video. As always, thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate it, and I will talk to you guys in the next video.
Yeah, honestly, I'm a human being. Really. So when somebody tells me that they're in the studio, or if you tell me, hey, I'm going to the mall, or hey, I'm going to go see my mom, I'm going to believe what you tell me, unless I have a reason to believe that you're not. So when he told me I'm going to the studio, which is the condo, because it's a studio there, you know, I'm going to believe it. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think I really said this before. I started to think something was wrong, only because one night, I remember he told me he was going to the studio. Okay. The studio is a built-in studio that one of his friends or whoever built in the studio. I knew something was off because the studio was upstairs in the house. He brought the studio over to the house. So how are you going in the studio, unless you were going to a different studio, but how are you going in the studio when it's in the room upstairs? Right. But I never said nothing, because there are other studios he do go to besides the one that's at the house. But I remember, even if we going, I keep going with this timeline about when he did it. It don't even matter when he did it. He did it. But I have my own reasons and times of when I think he did it, simply because I was out with some friends, and he was supposed to meet us, and he never came and met us.
Ooh. His excuse was that he was just working in the studio.
Actually, that night, he told us that something happened with somebody in the family, and that he had to take care of something, and that he would meet us later. But I never heard back from him that night. Okay. He came home the next morning. I don't think it was a week that I had a good time on the show, except the first episode, because we were just getting into the process. For me, every week was annoying and it was disappointing. I was literally frustrated every week. Like, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to do this. I don't want to go through this process because I was just upset every week. Not even about I don't care who he went on dates with. It could have been Katie, Jessica, Beverly, whoever.
Doesn't matter.
It was the fact of how he was acting in the group sessions, and I'm just like, this ain't what this man just told me at the house. So I always kept saying, yeah, he putting on for these cameras. I would always say that. He's putting on for these cameras because it was just, some things was just doing too much. He apologizes all the time.
Damn.
He reached out to me all the time and apologizes. And like I said, we've been knowing each other for a long time. We dated on and off for 14 years.
We're 19.
To where even, the family is like, you embarrassed that girl, so it's just kind of like, he gonna keep reaching out.
But someone said someone was confused as a dodo bird. And in that same convo, someone said that person might want to go back to you because they are comfortable with you and used to it. Watching that back, because you didn't know that happened when it was said, what was going through your mind?
To be honest, the first thing I thought after, it was revealed or whatever, because obviously, we know how it played out. But when I first thought about it, it was like, why would you say he's confused? I don't think it's a confusion. I think that you or that person in particular thought that, by doing that was going to keep him or get him to be with her. But that wasn't the case, because to be honest, if Dr. Nicole didn't set up that closure meeting, there was no closure meeting. So I could, it just, that part is like this with me. Like, if that closure meeting, and I said it when I went to meet up with the group to let them know, I don't think it's appropriate that we're here, that had she not set that closure meeting up, it wouldn't even gave her opportunity to say that.
Right.
So I don't believe that, anybody was confused as a dodo bird. I don't even understand what that is, but I believed it was something that either he did how many ever times, or he could have been doing it. But I want people to understand that my issue is not with her. Yeah. She's 2% of my problem. My issue is with him. Right. Because if it wasn't you, it was somebody else. So that's the part that I want anybody, even if she's watching, like, I don't have an issue with you. So let's just keep it 100. Like, my issue is going to always be with the person I'm dealing with. You 2% of my problem. Dr. Nicole told us to rip the boundaries up. Yeah. So in this situation, even though we rip the boundaries up, we still have our own boundaries as individuals, So what I'm trying to say is, even though we still had an agreement not to do this and this, he would come back home and act like he didn't do none of that. Oh, no, it wasn't. Yeah. So it wasn't until I saw it on television. Now, what I'm going to tell you, what I learned from that is, I'm not going to give anybody the benefit of the doubt anymore. I have a low tolerance, or I guess high tolerance. If somebody shows me something that's just like, I'm like, then I don't have time for it. And that could be anybody that, I could potentially be dating, or that could be anybody as a person. I feel like Kevin Gates says it the best. He's one of my favorite rappers. Okay. He said, once you show me a flaw, my fallback game is in full effect. Like, it's just a big turnoff. So moving forward, just with life in general, like, I don't give anybody the benefit of the doubt anymore. Friends, family, foe, whoever, guys. Like, no, if I feel like something's not right, I'm going to be very transparent and authentic with how I am as a person, and I hope you can do the same way. So at the end of the day, if it doesn't align and it doesn't match up, or I feel like something's wrong, I'm not giving people the time to do that. The difference with Darion, I've known him forever. So it just hit a little different when he cheated on me.
Right. Because you said it felt like you lost your best friend.
I definitely felt like I lost my best friend, because he knows everything about me. Everything.
Someone said, Dr. Nicole, did you know about the cheating before the closure meeting happened? Was that dispelled to you at any time?
The thing that is interesting about couples, and they don't really recognize they're doing it, to a trained eye, you can see when some things have shifted. You can, 70 to 93% of our communication is nonverbal. So without saying a whole lot, your body language will start to scream that something is amiss. Something has shifted, something has changed. Not really sure what it is, but something is up. And the great thing about the show, in addition to it amplifying what you already are doing and who you already are, the show has some standards, right? And one of the standards is we're grown folks. So if you've been going on dates all this time with this person, you need to speak to this person the same way you spoke to them on Hello, date one. You need to speak to them and let them know where you are in the process. Yes. If you've chosen to move forward with them, or if you've chosen to do something else, that's what the show is about. So this is not the kind of thing where you ghost people. You don't get to do that, because all of this is in an open space of honesty and transparency for you to be able to do whatever you want to do, but you have to do it decently and in order with all of the parties at hand. So one way or another, that meeting was going to take place. The question was, how were they going to navigate that meeting as two adults that had dated each other up to about four or five times at that point?
Right. 4, yeah. Girl.
I did want to kind of tap into kind of what you were asking Dr. Nicole about marriage. And I don't know if I ever really told Dr. Nicole this. Maybe I did, but I never even, for real, at the beginning, believed in marriage. I played professionally overseas for 6 years, and I would see when people would step out and stuff like that. And that's why I wasn't for the marriage thing at first. My parents have been together all their life, and they're not married. They have 4 kids. But for them, it was because, like, I'm not about to spend all this money for what? They basically are common law married. So at one point, I thought, like, maybe I could just have a partner and we just be like that. But it wasn't until, like I said, the last 2 years where it kind of was like, I don't think I want that. I think I want a real family, my own family. I mean, I see how happy people are in their families. And I feel like at the end of the day, everybody deserves to be happy. That's all I want. So, and I think for me, people might say I'm delusional or naive, or like Dr. Nicole would say, like, I would sweep a lot of stuff under the rug. Yeah. But I think for me, I was more even comfortable of trying to build something with somebody that basically knows me, instead of trying to go into these Atlanta streets and date people who only tell you half truths anyway. So I think for me, that's where my brain was set the whole time. Like, I would rather try to build something, and, I would rather try that than to try to get to know someone else, because of course our on and off again relationship, I've dated other people too, and it was always something that was disappointing that happened. I'm like, you know what, let me just go back to what I know.
Right. Go back to what's normal.
Let me add something to that, because one of the things in our community that I think is challenging is that we have great desire when it comes to the subject of love. We don't have a lot of tools. Right? So it is like having the desire to be a homeowner, but you don't have the tools to understand what that process looks like, who you are in the process, what you bring to the process as a homeowner. You don't have any real understanding. So you have a desire, but you could be sabotaging yourself along the way and not know that that's what you're doing. And one of the things, I'm grateful for the show, because it's an amazing platform for our folks to start talking about the things that matter in relationship, because they can see the work being done. They can see how things are playing out. They can see people's body language, and they can see, okay, there are certain things that okay, looking from this vantage point, I can see work and don't work. But who teaches us how to build what we desire? And I'm so grateful, because now there's a community of us. Crystal Khalil and myself, we have this series called Heart of the Matter Conversations. And what we're doing in that space is bringing together our folks with fun, confidentiality, and safety to be able to have the conversations that are necessary to understand who they are in the dynamic that they're in. Because you can't build something amazing, right? We are notorious for trying to build a mansion with the back of a shoe, right? Mm-hmm. We're not even using a hammer. We are determined the back of this shoe is going to build me what I want. I don't want to come there because you built the whole thing with the back of a shoe. I know that a hammer is what's needed. So we now are starting different conversations that are saying, ain't nothing wrong with you. You just don't use the right tools. You don't have them. You've not been offered them. You've not learned them. So even the way you trust folks, you're going to continue to be disappointed because you don't use the right trust metric. Trust metric? What the heck? What's that? Yeah, right. That's what it's called. Half of folks been trusting people wrong, and I know that's not good English, but you've not been doing it right. So what you're doing is creating opportunities to be disappointed because the way you offer people trust is not appropriate. Where would you learn that? So now we're saying it's time. The gig is up. Right. You really want love? You really want yummy love? You really want a partner? You're going to have to do what's necessary to learn so that you'll know partner readiness in yourself and in other folks. Because some people, they show up and they're like, ma'am, sir, I am not partner material. And if you knew the things on the list, you'd say, oh, honey, he's fine. Oh, he's so fine. Oh, my God, look at him. Oh, my Jesus, help me. Not partner material, though. You fine. But when I go down my understanding of who I am now and what you're showing me, and thank you, because I just met you fully, and I'm so glad to meet you, but you're not partner material. And here's why. So we're inviting people to come and hang out with us on September 18th if you're single, September 19th if you're in a couple relationship, so that you can learn some of the tools and be able to be the solution in your relationship or attract somebody that is really worth building something with.